Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Cesarica, which is near Carpathian in Croatia. I'd just like to do a short video today to talk about one of my heroes, and it's a man who created the modern world. Until recently, most people had never heard of him. We'd heard of Marconi, we'd heard of Edison, we'd never heard of Nikola Tesla. Look him up on Wiki and you'll see he was a Serbo-Hungarian or a Hungarian-American, and that's all it mentions. What most people don't realise is he was born in Croatia. He was a Serbo-Croat during the time of the Austro-Hungarian Empire in the Hungarian part of said empire. His father was an Orthodox priest, presumably a Serbian Orthodox. Now, the other day, staying in this small coastal village next to or close to the town of Carpathian, we needed to go inland to the town of Gospic because we need to do some shopping for the week for the villa. In order to go inland, there's a 1 kilometer climb up a sheer mountain on an extremely treacherous road which winds around this precipice-like serpentine cliff face, and then you drive through basically alpine territory in the Velebit National Park until you reach Gospic, which is about 45 minutes, an hour's drive away. However, in the middle of the bush, just past Velebit National Park, we saw a small sign saying Nikola Tesla Memorial Center, 6 kilometers this direction, pointing towards a 1.5 lane wide bush road going off into the middle of nowhere. Spontaneously, we followed it. In the middle of nowhere, there is a small village called Smeljana. I think I pronounced that correctly. And it's where he was born. We just randomly came across Nikola Tesla's birthplace. All that remains of the village is an old post office, his father's church, the parsonage or vicarage where Tesla was born and raised, and some modern sort of visitors centres. For me, it was a spontaneous pilgrimage of sorts, because Tesla was beyond genius. He created things years before the people we think created them did so. He created the radio. He created the light bulb. His visions for the future we still haven't implemented because corporations and governments don't want us to. For example, his biggest concept for humanity was electricity like Wi-Fi. Using these giant towers, you would have electricity available all over the world you would just tap into. He originally planned this for ships, that they would just have a mast which would tap into this free source electricity and would be able to power themselves across the sea. Remember that he himself was an emigrant to the United States. He actually entered the United States as a Swede. I have no idea why. But there were a few things there that really made me, at this visitor centre, at his birthplace, really made me think about what we know about Tesla. Now, I've always been into the paranormal and the occult, aliens, all this sort of stuff. And Tesla was quite honest about his beliefs in such things. For example, he apparently developed a radio communication device so he could speak with extraterrestrials and he could speak with the afterlife, or denizens of the afterlife. One thing he really did believe in, and it's actually written there at this visitor centre, is when he was younger, he started having visions. Visions with lights and sounds, complete Nostradamus-like visions. These weren't imagination, he was really there and could really see them. And these showed how the future should be. And then he spent years inventing what he had seen, because he already had it in his head. There are certain things he left us as enigmas. For example, when we understand 369, we'll understand the universe. But from my perspective, someone who loves nature and tries to spend as much time in nature as possible, one of the greatest things you can see when he visits his birthplace is there is a big stone, and I engraved on it is about how much time Nikola Tesla spent looking at a brook, a stream, and contemplating the power of nature. And from contemplating this, he went on to create the hydroelectric dam at Niagara by observing nature. This also led me to remember Isaac Newton, who, from possibly observing an apple falling, went on to discover the force of, or hypothesize the force of gravity, as we still haven't managed to find it. Nikola Tesla should be taught in every school. He is the creator of the modern world. He's the creator of future worlds we haven't even got to yet. But because of corporatocracy and governments and not very nice people who aren't altruistic like he was, a lot of his creations and inventions and ideas were destroyed or hidden or taken. So we know very little of what he actually created, because he wanted everything for humanity, not for himself. And that's not very popular with corporate magnates such as Edison and those who followed him. Anyway, if you're ever in Croatia, please check out the Nikola Tesla Memorial Centre. Just don't try and buy a t-shirt, as they're charging €40 for a cheap printed t-shirt. Apparently it goes to charity, but you know, €40, come on. As always, be free.